No,
Now you
you're
can
good.
go ahead. No, go ahead. I am recorded now. I got it.
I was debating on how I wanted to do it, if I wanted to do it with sharing all of my screen or just a partial, and I'm not seeing an option to share all of my screen, so I will just have to hop between things, and I apologize to people for that. I thought it would be a good idea if we started by re-looking at, sorry, I'm fighting with my computer, re-looking at a little bit of what we were aiming to do here, and sorry. So we were looking at doing the diamond and the snail. And so I pulled up the cheat sheet that was posted in the Right Before Prince group, because that is much easier for me to comprehend than the things that Mistress Bridget has on top of on her website with, like, oh, do this. So I can't remember who posted the cheat sheet, but I wanted to thank them again.
From Gwen, she posted it.
Excellent.
Gwendolyn.
Yeah. So as a reminder, for the diamond, we're looking at doing a series of quarter turns on the haunches and side passes or half passes, making a diamond shape. So that is pretty self-explanatory. I kind of suggested if you can't do all of it, just do part of it, because this is definitely something you could do on foot. It definitely can be overwhelming for a horse learning to do it, to do the entire square to start with, the entire diamond to start with. Or, if you have a grumpy pony that's just like, no, I don't want to, which you'll all find out. I clearly don't have one of those. And then for the snail/spiral, basically you spiral in or out, you go in a straight line, and then you basically do the opposite of what you just did. So you either spiral back out or you spiral back in. But basically you're doing something kind of symmetrical in that regard. So those were the two things that I had suggested for people that we do. I also, I'm trying to figure out how to move my thing to the bottom, which it is not wanting to do. I also had the score sheet pulled up. And on the second page, again, you want it to be looking at, is this similar to what people were suggested for the era, the 16th century, and the comeliness of the rider and the comeliness of the horse. But again, this is all about constructive criticism. We're not going to be that concerned about, how pretty are we all and what are we trying to perfectly have our horses look like. And that's why we're all kind of looking at this together with what can we improve on, because I know that I have things I can improve on, and I'm sure everyone else does as well.
May I interrupt you?
Absolutely.
And I'm just gonna see if I can share over you. Let's see, can you guys see my score sheet? Did that come up for you?
I do not see anything.
Go for it.
Oh, now I see it.
So I think Bridget always, when I did the event at Middle Kingdom, it is based on what Bridget or what you just shared, but I like this one because it gives you really defined, like from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, how many points to get or to give for like difficulty because of the gate use or the complexity of it. Again, if you can see it, I wasn't sure. So, and I think it's already in there. This is the one I like to use, and obviously you don't need to use what I do. I just really like this because it helps out with the different scoring parts of it. But I can share it again or can put it up and you guys go through it. But that was just one of my little tippy things. Because for me, I actually can turn our camera on. Because one of the things was when I was judging, and I normally try to have like 3 judges, what means 1 or what is 5? What are your criterias? for 1 to 5, and that gave me always easy to explain and to be consistent between the riders or between the events. And that is just my little input.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm assuming you have that uploaded. I have to admit, I just selected one of the various files that said,
totally fine.
Score sheet. There's
no,
like 3
I
or 4
appreciate you doing it. And that one was the original one that you shared. I just thought I'm gonna share this because even when Ethelmark did the last 2 events with Riding Before Prince, which wasn't me or somebody else, they do that, what you just shared. They don't go with, is the crop up? What is your the harmony between you and the horse, really the partnership, the difficulties, they have it all clumped together. And I thought it was easier, or it's easier for me, but use what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, either way, I figured it was a useful thing for us to just revisit before we start looking at everything.
Definitely.
But yeah, let me pull my screen back up. Give me just one moment. Because some people sent me their things independently, whereas other people sent them through Facebook. I have basically things in 2 different spots here. So are you all seeing Yarden's video? It's not playing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, you're alphabetically the first in how you file named.
And he looks so good, and he made the cover from Etzel this month. Just saying, right?
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. It was good though.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the diamond. Yeah, you're going to see a partial diamond here.
Diamond doing a diamond.
Yeah, like the thing that I'm noticing is which I mean, you'll see my horses do the same thing of the like front end, back end, and it not being the smoothest. But I am equally guilty in this endeavor.
This is where I gave up. Yeah, after that second turn. The first 2 sides I was kind of happy with, but yeah. So the front end, back end, getting them to move more in sync.
Like that's what I would aim for in it, and that is what I've been aiming for with my horses. I'm not sure if anyone else has any other commentary that's about something they're thinking about when they see it.
Did you use a crop for that one?
I was carrying a whip, but I didn't use it. It would have helped a lot because when I was practicing it, which I could have done a lot more schooling on, I started with, because we usually don't do the side passing much at all, and I started with just a tap on the haunches to move the haunches over at least, but I didn't because this was in the our Kingdom Championship, so I didn't use the whip at all, just during the event. But when I was schooling, I did. It helped.
Because I couldn't see on the video, and I know I watched you, and I couldn't remember. It's a day ago or so. What I liked when you got started are really the first 2 side passes in the quarter turn. And when you actually, I think, line up, and you kind of get to the feet almost. And it's not really dressage as much. Oh, I thought you actually stopped. So normally on this one here, I think you stop. You actually make a little pause, because it is not specifically mentioned, but doing Riding Before the Prince, if you have a little pause between like the lateral and then the turn, and then the lateral and the turn. It makes it easier for you and for the horse.
A little
And I
pause.
thought you did that when I watched it the first time, but
I was intending to. I think I rushed it a little bit. But yeah, I agree. A little pause between I called it a side pass. Copa actually see a good chat question about the diagram. It's actually seems to be a little bit more at a diagonal, which I don't know that I actually did, but
yeah, like, I remember that coming up. I think someone else made, because that was a question of like how much should it be a square versus how much should it be a diamond, and like what angle should people.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the real footwork should look like. Am I side passing around a box and then rotating, or am I doing more of a going forward? And there's a word for that in dressage. I don't know the word for it. Sorry, I'm not a dressage person.
yeah, me either.
Yeah, so when I first looked at it, I kind of assumed that it was side passing because the diagram having a perfect square in the center of it. But the way that it's angled, it looks like it's actually supposed to be leg yields, which are forward and sideways. And then your 90-degree angles actually make sense if you're already angled toward the direction you're going. So I did it wrong, but it makes sense when you look at it that way.
Yeah.
Well, I also did. Instead of trying to side pass, it would have looked better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spreadsheet talks about it being side pass or half pass. Although a half pass is closer to a leg yield in terms of the forward motion. So I guess it could go either way conceptually. Yeah. And the diagram definitely, once somebody mentioned leg yield, to me looked more leg yieldy.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized I did something very silly, which is I pulled up the answer on my phone when I realized I should pull it up on my laptop so that way I could actually copy paste the text. But I will let you all look at me do it on my pony while I try to pull up the text.
Can we bring up the image? Can we bring up the image again?
Yes. Let me stop that.
Do you have the images?
Yeah, I have the image. I just have to switch screens to that. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, it is a bit more forwarding.
What forward means going. See, that's the thing that I have a challenge with is I don't really see that as forward. I see it as going sideways, but the horse is tilted slowly. Can you zoom in on the image so we can see the little hoof prints?
Give me one moment.
So if we look at the top pair up between C and A, those prints are definitely facing out of the diamond, and they're square to each other. The right hind basically on the line of the diamond or square, whatever you want to call it. And so that doesn't look so much as forward as much as sideways, but holding the horse diagonal to the square.
It's literally what a leg yield is. So it's the leg yield turn on the haunch, the leg yield turn on the haunch.
Yeah.
I think we're describing the same thing, and you're just conceptualizing the sideways first and the forward second, and some of us are thinking the forward and then the sideways. That's all.
I it's just when we say forward, I keep thinking out of the parallel line we're in.
No, I think it's just a different conceptualization of it. Yeah. I think Katrina had a very nice video of it ridden, not as a side pass, but what I might call a leg yield, but somebody might call something different.
Yeah.
If I can jump in on this, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So when you're looking at the diamond and you're comparing it along with some of the other masters like Pluvinel and de la Brue, what we're seeing is it's not so much, so a leg yield is not a period maneuver. A side pass, you do see Pluvinel shows it in one of his, but in that case, it's like we would see a modern side pass over a pole where the legs are going parallel to each other in a straight line. What's being shown here is actually what would be called a travers, which is on the diagonal with the horse's nose pointed in the direction of travel. And the reason that that would be used in diamond and a lot of the horse training of that age is that's canter pirouette, and also a lot of your sword play on horseback is important to have that travers shape where you see the horse moving on a diagonal but with the nose tipped in the direction of travel. That also will set your horse up for those right angle turns.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I am also copying pasting some things that were said the other day on someone by Mistress Bridget on someone's post asking kind of exactly about this. And I'm
that was me.
taking her. Yeah, I'm taking it as correct.
Right. No, we all love Mistress Bridget.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
So I thought Travers was more of
I don't know, did you guys
had more of a bend in the body, which is not shown in this. Is that the difference between a modern practice and
a travers does show a bend in the body, but what you'll find, it's described if you're reading the manuscripts, but it's not, a bend isn't something that they tended to show a lot in their manuals. The hoof prints just simply indicate, which direction your horse is pointed. Okay. They didn't really illustrate the bend the way we do in our modern training diagrams.
Okay.
But it is definitely described
as a travers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, we have to remember that this historical stuff, it's form to function or function to form. So looking at where it's coming from and originating and how that works with the horse's biomechanics and how that works practically in application, whether you're in the menage or on the battlefield. So moving straight sideways doesn't have a lot of applications in either. But really awesome things you can do.
So my guy's not ready for travers. So if I were to do this as, say, a leg yield, I would just want to be prepared to explain the difference against the documentation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's a lower level of training and
Can you, so just because leg yield kind of varies a little bit between different disciplines and practitioners, can you describe for me your definition in your leg yield? Still sitting on my horse, you guys caught it, and I've only got so much daylight, so I couldn't sit. So we're trying to ride and do this at the same time. But go ahead, if you can describe that for me.
Yeah. So for me, riding leg yield is there's a minuscule bend in the direction away from travel, and but you're trying to be as straight as possible. But the slight bend is to help enable the crossing of the legs as you go diagonally.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But even less bend than you would have for, say, a 20 meter. Just as little bend as possible.
Yeah. I would, if you were for this, that's exactly what I would describe. I would put it, obviously in the terms that, I'm doing it this way to help my horse understand. One thing that I might suggest is to you know, look at some of the masters and try going straight to the travers, because it's actually easier for horses to have that forward motion and than it is to just go straight sideways.
See, to me, the straight sideways is either a full pass or a side pass.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep us moving forward, do we want to look at some other individuals?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And I apologize if I missed any introductions or anything. Did you guys go around the table or no?
No.
We just sort of dove right into it all.
Just dove in.
Oh, all right, cool.
We're antisocial. It's fine. I don't know what people are expecting here. Yeah.
We're horse people. The ponies are way more important.
You're not wrong.
So.
Nope, you're good.
Stuff with McCord. She was an ANS project start and there's described from the ground up. So I started with an unbroke 2-year-old.
Yeah. So this is me on my pony. Yeah. Which, going back to the whole like front end versus back end, we are not the most even, and going back to it should, you know, be more of a diamond than a square. It's definitely a struggle bus right now for us in that regard. Something that I've been trying to do since I first videoed a while ago to kind of break the ice on videoing, because I know no one really ever wants to go first, is that I've been trying to actually do fewer steps sideways because I started realizing that like when I was doing too many, it was getting both my horses just kind of frazzled and annoyed. And as far as I'm aware, there is no like, you have to go this many steps. If I just went like 3 or 4 and I went, okay, great, let's keep going, because especially on her, like 3 or 4 sometimes turns into like 5 to 7 because of momentum.
I noticed that as well, the fewer steps, because I was teaching a horse that really didn't know this type of maneuver. The fewer steps seemed to irritate for training a little bit less. And I thought the angle on that first part of the diamond, it seemed like it was, you know, the 45-degree angle you're shooting for versus I was just kind of doing a side pass.
I mean, I was aiming more for side pass. That was Libby being Libby.
Well, the first turn though, or the first side, I thought there was some forward there.
Unintentional.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, hey, whatever works.
I mean, she's smarter than I am, so you know, she probably knew what was what.
And she's definitely trying for you there.
Yeah. And I do think that
rock back and forth as she's figuring out which you want.
Yeah, one of the exercises I do regularly with her is basically a little serpentine of like turn on the haunches, go a couple steps, turn on the forehand, like always moving off the same leg. So that way we can kind of try to isolate which aid is which. Mixed results, but
for those of you whose horses were new to this, how many of you did this off the ground first? And how many just said, oh, let's just see what happens?
I did some on the ground, mainly just tapping with the whip on the haunches. The shoulder, it was easy to move over for me from my foot, but I started with just a whip on the haunches on the ground, and then it translated easy from the saddle. Well, relatively easy.
Yeah, like I will admit that groundwork is not my strong suit. So I started with it from the saddle, but I also broke it into parts where I did a lot of like change of directions over the last like 2 months, just being like, instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to change directions across diagonal of the arena or something, saying like doing the quarter pass or quarter turn, half pass, or side pass quarter turn, you know, to kind of.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spidey largely knows side pass, but for the whole diamond, I just kind of went, here we go.
Yeah. And
I'll do it the other way now.
Yeah,
which
and it looks
was
like
not entirely fair to him, but he knows the individual bits, but stringing it all together all at once might have been a little much for his poor little brain.
I believe in Spidey. He's a good bean. He is Spidey. Yeah. Apparently my, what do you call it? My computer doesn't want to load a video in a new thing. So this is me on my other horse, which with him, I very much do have to keep it like 3 to 4 steps because otherwise, fuck you.
The was he crossed behind the 1 step.
I sometimes actually have an easier time doing lateral movement on him because he's less flexible than the pony. So there is less of like him being able to wiggle out of something compared to her. But he, as you saw there, he does tend to do the backwards a little bit more.
He's got a lovely cross.
Oh yeah, he's extremely athletic. He just needs to use that power for good, you know? And that's the other thing I've been doing is I've been trying to like trot out of them. Just because too much sideways is too much sideways. And even you'll see in a couple minutes or in a couple moments that even just doing 2 squares in a row, he'll have a little fuck you moment. Come
on, Leo. Some nice steps that.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's a small entirely different movement.
Yeah.
I think that was an onset of Terra, just like not completed.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, because you know, last week when I was practicing and he was being perfect, the camera wasn't out.
All right, I really appreciate this video because I thought I was the only person whose horse was like, screw you. I'm not going to pay any attention to leg cues because it's almost dinner time. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, Leo definitely had enough there.
Yeah. 2 squares in a row is too many squares, apparently.
No, but counting steps is letting, I mean, he's got a fairly good, about the same amount of distance covered each step. So that's giving you a pretty good geometry, except for the parts where he's backing up, but that's just training. So it's a good visualization is what I'm saying. I think it works a lot better counting the steps than having the poles and trying to tie yourself to the distance that a pole set up.
Yeah, I definitely tried it with the poles, and I think that got us too stuck in our own head. You know, because I was thinking about like, oh, are we sticking with the poles and everything? Whereas if I just say, oh, we're doing 3 or 4 steps, it's a lot easier.
And then when they do make the error and back up, it messes things up more than it needs to.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that turn.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
This is nice.
This is expert level. This is many step. But do we want to see that again for posterity's sake.
Yeah, yeah. And this is in real time. This is,
as far as I'm aware, yeah. They sent me the video earlier today via Messenger, and I just downloaded it onto my computer.
Look at that. Yeah, there's a step or two forward between the sideways and the turn, but I mean, that's some beautiful stepping. And
yeah. Not always hind hand and forehand synchronized, but really nice.
Yeah, I mean, the crossing's lovely and
yeah,
very steady. Clearly not the first time they've done it.
I can't do it that fast. I'll have to work on that.
No. Well, I mean, it goes, like, we all have things that we can improve upon.
I mean, it's not the motions themselves. I know in some of the Western disciplines, it's not uncommon motions, even if the pattern itself is different.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to get through all of the ones that were sent to me before we switch over to the ones that were shared on Facebook. So.
Is this going to snail?
I think it's, yep, it's flipping out a little bit, at least on my screen. So I did take some liberty here because we only had 4 minutes for this. I did half of it, half the snail at the trot, and well, the beginning of it at a canter, and then the rest of it at a trot, just for time. Which because we only had 4 minutes, and this movement took up about a minute of that. So that I actually thought that worked out well.
And you're trying to display different gaits there.
Exactly, yeah. Trying to get a little bit of the rest of it was pretty canter heavy, so I was trying to get some trot in there.
When you practiced it, did you practice using cones or anything for centering and evening, or?
No, I did. No, my practice was a little rough. I also didn't practice much at the canter. I was going to do the whole thing at the trot, but it was just, I was trying to speed it up a little bit. But no, and I was actually trying to get the right number of spirals. I think I got the right number of spirals in the movement, but I didn't use cones or anything. And I noticed, here's a little self-critique, like the first circle and the second circle were barely different in size at the canter. I didn't really spiral in as much as I should have. If you kind of look at where I started on that, against that, I guess the fence there, I almost hit the same spot right there. This one's a little bit tighter. I was kind of happy with that.
Trying for 3 circles specifically, or I think I might have done 4 a couple times.
Like, I don't think there's a specific number of circles you have to hit. I just normally similarly try to hit the same number, and I normally lose count. So I'm thinking about other things.
And I may have actually done 1 too few now that I'm looking at it. So I think I only did 2.
Get my start point for the circle. I was like, did I start in the middle or at the head of the ring, or what? Where did I start counting?
Yeah.
So writer focus is a consistent comment I get.
Well. And I definitely was trying to compare mine, because I'm in an indoor, trying to compare it against the lights that are above my head. But I agree that like I don't know how many I actually hit. I did not put that barrel there. There was a lesson going on at the same time, and someone had left it there for whomever.
Hey, markers are markers.
Yeah.
Whee!
That was definitely his moment because we do a lot of serpentines. He's like, can't serpentine? I'm like, no, we're actually same directioning here, bud.
Close, but not quite.
Close, but not quite. One thing that I definitely try to focus on is when I go down my straight line is to always keep my outside leg on so I don't bow out, which that time was a less successful moment. And one thing I've been working on a lot is not so much with this video, but in general, is just lifting up his shoulders so that way we can get a bit smaller circles and more use of the haunches.
Yeah, this past year, Spidey and I have been doing a lot of work on different qualities of canter. So his jump canter versus a more collected dressage versus lengthening versus it's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know how many circles I did. I did it till it felt right, which is probably not the correct answer.
I think I did one fewer.
Yeah.
But looking at the diagram, I can't actually figure out how many they're supposed to be. I think it's 3. Is that right?
I think in the description it says 3. 3 or 4 should be.
Are there any notes in the sources on circle diameters?
I'm pretty sure there isn't.
No. One of the things with the manuscripts compared to today, you don't have those specified circles like 20 meters, 10 meters, 8 meters kind of circles from what we are used to from the dressage.
Yeah.
But if you look at
script, sorry, what you do see in the manuscripts is just using space you have available. But depending and in riding menage, so for example, Cavendish's riding house was 8 by 30 meters, which is pretty small. Or it could be a plowed field, and they show using most of the space in a field outside of town. So whatever space you want.
Yeah. Like my arena is about 30 by 50 meters. So for doing the half, I'm looking at about 15 meters going down and then going back up. And here I didn't have anyone to hold the camera for me. So I was like kind of sticking on a wall, so you're not getting quite a good of an angle, but I'm trying to like keep the center of my circle between the 2 rows of lights here.
And the other thing with circle size, depends a lot on your horse as well, and not just your availability of riding arena. Because when I'm riding my almost 18 hands draft with arthritis, the circles will never be tight compared to my little baby. She just can turn on a dime.
A little bigger.
I have a collection of elderly and arthritics, so we don't do a lot of tight circles to begin with.
Yeah.
Libby had some tight circles there. That was
that goes back to the 14-1 pony, right?
Libby's bendy.
Yeah.
She's also feisty.
Sorry, what?
She's also feisty.
She can be. She has that chestnut pony mare action. No, with her, I actually sometimes have to be like working on using more of my outside rein to like bounce her out a little bit more on the smaller circles, because otherwise we get kind of weird and like overbent in the neck and not as balanced. You know, in the over analyzing Mishi brain, such as it is. Whoops. Why are you saying that? You're literally on my computer. Let's try this one. Some of this is another diamond.
Is there an upright whip on this that they're holding?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're just getting fancy.
Yes.
I tried that once with Spidey, and there's reasons you don't see it in the video.
This just makes me feel inadequate.
Okay, like OTTB says what?
Could you play that normal speed?
I try.
Yeah, my playback speed's normal.
Oh.
It's exactly what was sent to me.
All the videos that I've seen have been just a series of pictures on that's
Yeah, that doesn't always come through Zoom, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I don't know if I can screen share on a phone. That'd be cool.
I'm not sure either. I can also try pulling it up in my browser from the chat to see if that would be better. I honestly am unsure.
Yeah.
That video is coming through.
Yeah, maybe try
pretty
that.
clear
I
for
also
me.
have the option to share on my phone, I think. So, are you going to try from the chat first?
If you want to try from your phone, I can stop sharing so you can try from your phone.
Yeah, let me try that. That looks like you're doing the trot one. It will not give me the option to do video. So, oh, screen. So.
You might not have enough Wi-Fi or internet availability.
There we go.
Cutting in and out when you talk, so it might not work.
It might not.
Yeah, let me can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you started screen sharing.
Yeah, so that's me pulling it up from the chat.
Cool. Easy peasy. And I don't know about the rest of you guys, but what I found is that doing the diamond with the right angle turns is much easier at a walk or a canter. The cadence of the footfalls at the trot makes the turns much more difficult with your forward motion. I don't know if anyone else found that out as they were experimenting with these.
We couldn't get enough collection. we're also not quite at passage yet, so which is pretty much where I'd need to be with Spides to make that turn at trot.
You have to admit that I mainly just stayed in whatever gate I had decided to do the thing in.
That's snail at a canner is what that one is.
Yeah, I do like the upward motion you get with them.
Oh, with this horse?
Yeah. I feel like that ties back into like the whole comportment of horse aspect.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. She's the one that's been my little ANS project. She's a 5-year-old Andalusian that I got a year-old. Times like a little. But I was, oh, we're going pretty fast, I guess.
Are these videos out on the Facebook?
No, they
are not. No, they were sent over Messenger. I had some technical issues, so I didn't get a chance to upload them to the page, but I will.
Yeah, please.
And so I think I think this is the last one that you sent at the beginning.
I think so. They're all pretty short. They're about 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
So it's a little choppy. This is Madison, right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's a little choppy, but as someone commented before, you may want to give yourself just a half pause before you do the turns and the corners.
At which speed?
What am I seeing right now? Because
so
a little choppy, so it's hard for me to see. Is this a fast walk or is this a trot?
I think
it's a walk.
I think this particular walk.
Okay.
Like big steps.
Big step and walk. You're not really going to have the opportunity to pause before you do the quarter turn.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if they're balanced enough to make it, you don't need that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the one I sent of the diamond at a canner, that we're just starting to play with that. And like the first half of the diamond is a little scattered, but by the second half, her last 2 turns, you can see her kind of gather herself and swing that front end around off, which is really cool. So hopefully she'll get better at that. But this is one of those exercises that those little baby steps toward that. So.
Oh, you're very impressive.
Well, I thank you. This is like my favorite SCA thing, historical horsemanship. So.
Oh, this is really choppy.
Oh, I saw this one online, the in-hand one.
Yeah, in the interest of time, I'm switching over. I think we hit everyone that just sent them to me independently, and switching over to the ones that were posted online.
Are you actually, is it a video for you guys or is it just choppy images?
This one's choppy.
Yeah, it's coming through choppy.
I wonder if it might be better if, since these are posted on the Facebook group, to put the link to the particular video in the chat. And then people can just go to it on their own screen.
That'll work better.
That is the one we are at right now, I believe.
Honestly, I'm not sure I've got the ability to do that, but I'll follow along as best I can.
Yeah. As someone who's terrible at groundwork, I have to admit, like, I'm really impressed of like how well this horse picks up on like the small cues.
Thank you. Well, we've been,
yeah.
I mean, so we have not done a diamond before, but I got her January of last year, and I started her. She turned 14 this year, but she was pretty much a broodmare at a Lusitano farm up in North Carolina, and she had enough that she was safe enough for me to handle, but I still considered her pretty green. She was very reactive. Lusos, all Iberians in my experience are very sensitive, intelligent horses. And so she's picked things up very quickly. I use a lot of positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you can get the video actually going, what you'll see is her being overreactive to a lot of it. Cause it was, wait a second, I know something's different here, Mom. So
is that hip targeting in there too? Is that what I see?
It's not hip targeting. So this was actually a really good exercise for me. Like I mentioned in the comments that, see, she swings her butt away from me when I ask her to stop. I hadn't really realized that that was something that she did, but she's doing it consistently. And so that's something I have to work on.
Okay.
I think it's her way of refocusing on me.
Is that something that you teach her to do in lunging to face up and hunt, or?
You broke
that's
up.
what I was gonna say.
You broke up.
The same thing, just facing up.
Yeah. So I've discovered in the last year or so that she considers me a safety blanket. She overthinks things, and so she likes to be right up next to me. I think that's her way of just repositioning and getting control of the situation. So we've got some things to work on here. Yeah. But I use both verbal and visual cues. Yep.
Pretty girl.
Yeah, it's like the thing that you do where like you gesture at her hip and she like moves it back towards you. I'm just like, that seems like magic.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of groundwork. She knows ha and ji, which are terms for driving horses, but I started using them because she wants very specific cues. Mm-hmm. So to turn left, she wants a separate cue than to turn right. So that's why we're using Hanji, and she's good with those. She's good with over in both directions, and give me is the term for giving me your hip. Swing is move your hip away from me, and she's pretty consistent on both of those from both sides.
I'm trying to pull up the first of Katrina's videos for you all. I don't think Katrina's on this call. But this is her with her horse Nugget.
is this the snail video?
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Almost like she went to a spin. That's for the center of her circle.
And I'm pretty sure that there's not a change of direction involved in it.
Did she only have one video?
She posted a second video as well. But I think it's her doing the diamond.
Okay, so it's one each.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And yeah, she has that forward motion going that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's good footwork.
Oh yeah, no, she kills it a lot of the time. It's like it's her job or something.
At the same time, Nugget looks kind of tense and resistant too. Even though he's moving very fluidly.
Yeah, like Nugget likes going fast, so it's a defense to her intention, her normal way. But yeah, like from watching her at events, she's very good at spinning and she's very good at moving her peats real fast.
Yeah, good games horse.
Yeah. No, Cope, I'm not gonna lie, I'm unsure how many videos you tried to upload versus where they all ended up in different posts. So this might be a little bit of an exploration for all of us together.
There should, I think I uploaded 2 of Magic and 2 of Freedom, but we certainly don't need to watch all these videos. Especially Freedom, because I'm having some bad times with him right now. He's bucking people off, and I don't know what to do about that.
Oh, that's not good.
Is he in pain?
Yeah.
Well, you'd think if he was in pain, he'd buck me off,
But if it hurts that you're sitting, if there's tension, whips, whatever, something hurts him, it's uncomfortable, he wants to get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my first check, if there's anything he gives you pain sensation, and then go from there.
Yeah, it could just be that you're sitting in a way that isn't putting as much pressure as somebody else is. It could be saddle fit. It could be need a chiro adjustment. You never know.
Yeah.
What's that in your hand? Is it a lance in your hand? What do you have there?
It's just a sword, a plastic sword. So I wasn't sure what we were doing here. So we're doing side passes on a square kind of thing.
I think that's what most of us did.
Yeah. And I saw Mistress Bridget posted another thing, but that is also legitimate movement. That I can try to pull up that quote that she put in someone's comments on another post. So we're all learning together, and that's the purpose of these sort of meetings.
Yep, I think it's a great idea. I want to say the square is in Pluvinel for sure. I think. If you can't find it, let me know and I can.
Remember diagram that in Pluvinel.
In terms of a non-horse person watching it, I feel like the diamond done in traver or a leg yield is more elegant to watch
Mm-hmm.
than the side passing.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the big spiral in, out, in, and now we're doing the spiral from the end of the out
Mm-hmm.
and trying to not let the dog bite my horse.
You have so many rules.
Well,
Yeah,
that explains the sword, you know.
Yeah, longer sword next time.
Well, Magic kicked her in the head, and now she
Ooh.
thinks it's an even funner game because it's more challenging to not get kicked in the head. Jinx is not.
We'll just count it as an extra level of difficulty for you.
Yeah, I had to put her up when I did my second thing with Freedom because she just. But Magic's a real easy horse to ride, so it's kind of. He's pretty smooth and easy going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go.
Appreciating that you dressed for the occasion.
Showing us all up.
The rest of us.
Full disclosure, I was going to work on this on Sunday, and well, Freedom dumped my riding partner, and so we ended up sitting around waiting for her painkillers to kick in before she could go home. And oh, so anyway, I didn't practice any of these. I just popped on the horse and did them, and it was cold, so I threw a tunic on.
Yeah. Well, just remember that don't let perfect get in the way of good. You know, it's better to do something than to do nothing.
Yeah.
I like it. Get on and go.
Yeah.
So that's Magic again. I don't know if you really want to see him do this twice.
Is this the same video?
This said this was the first attempt, or I think before we were watching the second attempt.
Yeah, this is the first attempt.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why I did them with and without, or without then with the sword. It made sense yesterday.
Honestly, I don't know if I could do it one-handed in any sense of accomplishment or grace. So
I could not manage the canter one-handed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Swords are super cool. If you're doing swords, you should start doing some raw inspection if you're not already. Just so super cool. And this is all the footwork for the mounted sword play.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have anybody down here to play with.
If interested, we can catch up on the side and talk about spell work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a tire there we use for pel work.
Yeah. Mounted pel work.
He's giving me a dirty look. He does not like side passing. He thinks it's dumb.
He seems like a good dude.
He really is the best. I don't want to be an asshole talking about my horse, but I mean, he pretty much tries to figure out, what are we doing? All right, I guess we're doing that spiral thing.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing for me watching this is, you know, we all ride slightly differently. And like, I know for me, when I had the diamond, I had probably longer reins than I should have. I feel like I had them shortened up well for when I did the snail. And then just like, yeah, like seeing other people where like their horses are better at neck reining than mine are, or, you know, just the different little things. You know, it's interesting to see how like we're all doing the same thing, but in slightly different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what makes the SCA so cool, because I think it's the only arena where we get people from every discipline out there, from dressage to polo to reining to whatever, in the same arena doing the same thing. I think that's probably the only place in the world that happens.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah. Jeannie, did you get to do it on Bonnie at all, or is it just on Spidey?
Just on Spides. We're still trying to get saddles fit to Bonbon.
Nice.
I will say, watching everyone else's videos, I'm like, Spidey does go faster than a lot of horses. I should work on that.
And I like you can see the circles in the sand, you know exactly how much you moved in and out.
You can see he's got a wicked cant there. And it's all I can do with outside rein, inside leg to keep him upright but on the circle.
How much are you using your legs here?
Inside heavily, outside's containing the circle.
Okay.
I'm kind of having to push him into the outside rein.
When you practice, do you set up a couple obstacles and just kind of wander around at different speeds, emphasizing leg over rein for turning?
Yeah, I mean, he'll go without rein contact.
Okay.
He's actually more off seat than leg.
Are you able to steer with just leg?
Yeah.
Awesome. Because some of that, the horse that you saw is my new project. I had to retire my games mare a couple of years ago. And one of the things I really like to do with her is I scatter my arena with objects, poles, plastic barrels, cones, everything. And then, just a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to do until I do it, so that she can't.
Those are fun days.
Yeah, she can't think ahead because there is no set pattern. And so a lot of that I try to do with either very light contact or I just drop the reins because we're in an arena, and just use seat and leg and try to teach them to steer, belly button and low. And some of that leaning tends to go away the more you do it.
We've only just this season started working anything smaller than 15 meters at canter. So, and even just between when I did this first set of videos and these second ones, is when he started predictably being able to hold it. So there's a lot of strength issue, I think, as well. We're looking at having to inject his SI.
Keep an eye on yourself. You see some of these you're leaning forward.
Some of them I pitch forward, yeah. Like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not helping, obviously.
Yeah.
So
and it's a side saddle, no less. I don't know how I managed to do that.
Oh, it doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. As long as it's a comfortable saddle for you and the horse, it's fine.
Well, yeah, I'm just not sure how I managed to pitch forward like that from the dressage saddle. When I'm in my jump saddle, I can know why I do it.
Yeah.
But again, knowing is half the battle. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And these videos are very helpful. Even
his
if
main disciplines are actually eventing and working equitation. With the sideline of mounted archery and SCA.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to manage all the things. Did you send in a snail and send in a diamond and I just forgot to save that link?
The diamond was in the first batch. I didn't do a second diamond. I don't know that it's substantially different than some of what we've seen. Except you get giant Spidey butt when he's close to the camera.
Hey, his butt is very cute and fuzzy. I can appreciate it. Also, just as a curiosity question, like what are people using to record themselves? Like I assume most people are using their phones, and I think some people have Pivos. But
Yeah.
like I know I dropped my phone on like the wall of my indoor.
I used Norbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Pivo
Mhm.
and I love it. It works with my phone.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
have a remote for it. It just the battery on the remote died.
You know, I have to say I love this arena. I'm getting kind of thirsty here.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? And her indoor looks nice too in the other video.
Yeah, just rub it in. Just rub it in.
These
I'm
are
still-
not mine. These are just properties that I trailer out to.
So when you guys were mentioning, I'm still, I can't ride in my arena. I still on mudslide. We are not done. We have equipment issues. And I'm doing my laterals between the trees and it's all my circles. And if she doesn't move out, she will hit a tree.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's basically, it's cleaned up forest, but it's literally my obstacles are trees. And
Great training aid.
it keeps your toes in.
Mhm. Sure it does.
Just saying. So I love this arena. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted.
And I think it's all the little things that we notice.
Right?
like horse people problems.
Like I like the quiet hands and nice seat, what I could see from the distance.
Just very steady.
Yeah.
You count it out, it's just a nice 1, 2, 1, 2. A little stretch there.
Yeah. I'm sure a number of you have heard my ramble about metronomes and how they can help you build up even musculature, and it can make a lot of things look nicer. I know that my trainer is like, yep, if we're gonna get into, doing dressage or anything, just use the metronome. But it really helped my thoroughbred gelding even out his back end with stepping up evenly and everything.
How do you hear a metronome in the arena though?
I have it on my phone and my phone's in my pocket, but I'm also a musician. So I already had it on my phone.
Yeah, they have some good app suggestions for metronome.
Yeah.
If you want to toss it in the chat, Epi.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, I tend to do like inside foot, outside foot for like one end, two end sort of thing, because that also helps with like rib cage movement.
I never thought about it. I either click or stay in rhythm. I make a vocal noise, which I hope I'm in rhythm to teach the horse. I never thought about using an app for that.
I just sing. That's why my horses are so mean.
I don't know. You submitted a lovely entry to virtual, either Highland River Melees or Highland Havoc, whichever one it was, with you singing, and I appreciated it.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I'm not much of a singer.
I like that she's just nice and relaxed going around. It's not a lot of fussing.
Yeah. Okay. I have to jump off here. I'm supposed to be in another meeting, believe it or not.
Well,
but thank you guys for organizing this. This has been great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cope. I hope to see you soon.
Yes. Bye.
See ya.
Take care.
Jen, you said you trailer out. Where is this?
This property is right down the road from me, like 5 minutes. But I'm in a. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It keeps turning my mic on and off. I can't tell when it's on. There's a lot of horse places around me. This one and the indoor are the same property. I just went outside because they were doing a lesson. But
Is
there's
this a
3 or 4
private?
arenas. Is it what?
Is it private?
It's a private facility, but I have taken lessons from the lady there off and on for years. So I just come in and pay a day fee.
I think we're all just always looking for nice places to ride.
She probably would take more trailer ins. It's right here by Culpeper.
Okay.
And then there's also a big sand arena in Nokesville that I use a lot with my other horse who does actual dressage and needs more space than these 2 arenas.
You need more space than that?
Well, he's a bit bigger and he's working on a lot more like full tests and continuous, 3 or 4 exercises in a row. And it's kind of hard to do that. Sometimes I have to share this arena. I pay to be there, but if they have a lesson or something, I try to get out of the way.
Gotcha.
But this horse is just a really nice, sweet old mare. I never really planned on riding her until my other mare ended up retiring kind of. We knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming like that day. So she's only really been doing more legitimate work for about a year. So bending is still, she's working on it. She's still pretty stiff, but she tries hard.
Yeah, I go back to we all have to start somewhere. It was easy, we wouldn't be doing this.
I think my big thing watching other people's comments and videos is that I need to read the directions a lot closer because I wasn't counting circles. I did the other exercise completely wrong. I just kind of looked at them and was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And didn't really pay attention to what was really being asked.
Yeah, I remember Gisa. So we don't really do Ride Before the Prince in Atlantia much, which is, part of why I was like, hey, what if, we started learning how to do it better? Because I feel like a number of us are intimidated. And I think it was Gisa who said sometimes you get people who, again, don't really read the instructions of you should circle twice or you should do what have you. And it's that's a really simple thing to that with a little bit more attention that.
And for judging it, so when I was part of the judging team, it shows me who read the book or just looked up at a picture. So if you're using scoring for being more accurate, have the research done, how you ride it. Are you doing one track or following the neck, or are your hooves on 2 tracks on your voltas or not? Tells me if you read the instructions or not. So just to be picky on it. If there is a difference in all schools are really similar and the performance are really similar, that can make a difference. So yes, it's interesting to read. I think it's interesting actually to read the description and getting away a little bit of what Jennifer has and go to the original manuals and pick something that is not in Bridget's handout for that, just to be different from everybody else. That's one of my pet things, but just adding to it.
So if we were to do Ride Before Prince at an event, we would come with our own display, let's call it. There wouldn't be a list of you must do these particular maneuvers?
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. So I always, this is how I like to run it, and everyone who is offering an activity, you can make up your own rules kind of thing. So I always like to post this is an activity I will have at this event. I will state if there's a time limit or an obstacle or pattern, a minimum of patterns, maximum of patterns, what is the time limit, how will I score it. Then I also supply the files for filling out the first sheet of that score sheet and basically asking what is your pattern and then where is your references, and that needs to be submitted before they enter into that competition, before they start. And that's basically, if I'm part of the judging team, I normally keep the scoring sheet. I let the judges know this is the next movement coming. So now we're gonna see a spiral. And then I say, basically, how many points would you give that pattern? And I basically explained the pattern and the scoring before we start the competition. So yes, that's one of the things I love about writing before the prints. It's really you show the ability from you and your horse. If your horse does not back up or does not do a right hand canter, don't put it in. You put in what you want to do and the strength of it, and you play on your strength and your horse's strength, and you dress up and just look awesome.
I have to say, watching Jen's second diamond here, I struck and I appreciate how I think most, if not all of us, have been demonstrating this in both directions, which I know from a performance perspective, you don't have to, but from a training perspective, I like.
Yeah, I always feel uneven if I don't do it both ways. I don't know, maybe I just get itchy. Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why Spidey doesn't bend to the right. That's my bad side.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the last post was just Cope's other rides that she dumped everything in the comments, but she's not here anymore. So I don't know if we want to look at that or not.
Did you just ask if we want to watch videos of horses?
I mean, I did. But like the person's not here. That being said, this might have been the moment where my internet decided to not work anymore. So I think we watch.
Yeah, it looks like we watched the
first pass.
Yeah, we saw
the second. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think so. I don't. Sorry. What I was gonna say is I don't see a good way for me to share this link, which I was doing earlier. So hopefully this isn't too choppy and people can see the video all right.
Coming through pretty choppy over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go into the discussion part of the event, Cope posted like just had like a text post, not with no videos, and then all the videos were in the comments, and like that's what I'm pulling from here. So hang on, let me just try something real fast that just occurred to me. No, it's not gonna. Sorry, never mind. Like it's not gonna let me just copy a link. I apologize.
Oh, I think it's on the post that says not sure how to get videos to load.
Yeah.
23 hours ago. Okay, I see him.
Yeah, this is the first pass with freedom.
Yep. Yeah, and following up on the practicing in both directions, especially with the diamond, I found I just didn't have time to do it both directions because it may take, depending on the speed, if we were a little bit slow, but one direction maybe almost a minute. And so if it's a 4-minute test, and it's hard to do both directions if you want to do anything else. So I obviously picked the best direction that we could do. And that's really for all the movements. We were only to get 5 in a 4-minute competition. And so we practiced both directions, but it eventually just picked one direction and tried to highlight both sides as much as possible.
I feel like that's pretty typical. I know that I'm looking at doing red before prints for an ANS display in March. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking the things that we look better doing.
Right. Yeah. And I found printing out the score sheet with the the pictures of the movement and a little description of if you're going to modify it in some way. So the snail half canter, half trot, however you're going to do it, kind of helps the judges to know that it was intentional and not a break of gait.
So I know that we've talked about getting movements from books that are basically not on Mistress Bridget's website or not on the cheat sheet that's posted in the group. And I feel like I've asked this before and I don't remember the answer. Do people have any good online resources of like where things are uploaded? Or is it more of like go buy the book off, whatever online source and hope that it's translated well?
Something from Bridget. At the end of her document, you will see a huge list of additional references and books you can pull from. If you're looking for anything specific, pin me. I have a great library at home.
Yeah, because I know like with me, I'm horse poor. I mean, we're all horse poor, but sometimes buying like a $200 book, not knowing if it's going to be useful or not, is definitely something I can't really do. And then, sorry, just moving onwards. I think we already looked at Cope's second pass on magic. So I'm just going down to the grumpy dinner time video. I know for me in my outdoor, I definitely struggle to find things to put my phone on to video myself. Sometimes there's barrels left out by the barrel racers that can be used, and I have to like bring out like a little tiny bucket to lean my phone against. I feel like it's always a little bit of like Tetrisy Jenga to find out if I can video without it actually falling over.
Tried a standard with a jump cup.
Oh, that's smart. Look at you.
What was that?
A jump standard with a jump cup. I happen to know that they have them at their arena. It's not something everybody's gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
I like how sometimes the swords are for hidden.
I've been prompted to say that the Norbert is also a very useful camera holding device.
Yeah. I go back to like, I don't think I could ever do this one-handed, or at least not anytime in the next year.
Small steps.
Yeah, like especially not on my gelding.
I was gonna say, Libby, I think you've got a good shot.
Yeah,
you just ask for one step and then go out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that we do is 95% horsemanship and 5% weapons handling.
Yeah.
And my Percheron is not neck reined at all. She definitely needs direct rein. But there's something, I call it bridle hand. It's basically the cues as direct reining, but you're holding it in one hand.
Yep.
And it works really well for me, my Percheron, but she's also primarily leg and seat driven, not rein driven. But I need the reins contact to keep her from wandering off. But might be something for you to look into it.
Yeah, like I definitely bridge my reins and like can do the games one-handed, so I can handle the weapons, but I feel like, you know, going back to the whole comportment of horse and everything, that like rounding and bending with one hand is something
but you're not bending with the hand, you're bending with the legs. You're bending the horse with the legs. Much more than with the hands.
Yeah, once your horse is going well, riding it one-handed is almost more a psychology game to yourself.
Like she and I get in enough moments of me telling her to carry her own head, which is apparently offensive.
Oh no, no, don't get into that.
Yeah, no, we've been working on getting out of that.
No, my retired mare used to be a rental trail horse, and when I was first riding her, before I purchased her, she was so heavy on the hands I couldn't wear rings.
You know, I've definitely gotten blisters, and you know, normally when she starts getting like that, I start doing lateral movements. Like we do this game called Shark Tooth, which is basically like a lot of like move your shoulders, move your shoulders, move your shoulders, like in a zigzag pattern, just to get her off my hands. But that's sometimes what the entire riding time turns into, rather than doing anything else.
Well, what you do is you do a little in practice during warm up and cool down, and you drop the reins. You drop them completely and force yourself to use your seat and your leg.
So I think that's all the videos people sent us.
I think so.
Yeah, like
I got a cute one of Pele just standing there waiting for me to turn on playing with the video, but I didn't think that anyone would be interested in that. So she was very good. She didn't wander too far. And every time I went, hey, stand still, she'd kind of stop and look at me. So
what are the next movements, the next review, the one in December?
Good question.
That is a good question. I sure did write them down.
Yeah, they're on there, but have I read it yet? No.
I can't find it. I can't find it on Facebook. I'm searching right now and I can't find the second one.
It's also posted in the group.
Oh no.
Yeah, it should be in the group.
Lost here.
It's in the group.
It's okay, friend. I'll try to find it for you.
Send it to me.
I'll send it to you.
That works too.
But that should be the Facebook event for anyone that did not get the invite. So the turn on the forehand, the volta danche. We'll pretend like I could speak Italian. That's again something I was thinking that people could do on foot, and because I know it is going to be winter, not everyone can ride in winter. And then the circles, which is like the circle, the horse makes 2 circles to the right, 2 to the left, and then a straight line, a trot or canter. And then at the end of the line, they do, well, in my case, I will not be doing a pirouette, but a small doubling, such as it were.
If you can't pirouette, you can volte or something.
Yeah.
It's all preparation for.
Yeah, you know. throw your hands up in the air, have a party while you're at it.
When did you post the ones for December?
A while ago, because I was trying to get it on the calendar before I forgot.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go and repost it and it will refresh and come up to the top as like, hey, reminder kind of thing, next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that this one's done, this post, the next one can get pinned.
Yeah, right. And I will go and after we are done, I download my videos to YouTube and then just post the YouTube link to this video. I do that with the martial class. I think that works the best because it's 2-hour long video. Facebook does not like downloaded a video like this, so I just do a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
I assume everybody on here actually should have asked, it's okay to have it then publicly posted, or does anybody want to keep their writing videos private? Then I would need to find out a different way to post it.
For those
of
I'm okay.
Ones we've already done, or the ones that we're going to do?
Well, and moving forward, well, from this meeting today, if I'm sharing this meeting in a YouTube, your videos that were shared in this meeting will be public. Basically, everybody could see it if they're watching this video.
Okay.
So that would be something. If somebody cares, I need to make sure not to put it out in public. I just would share it with people within this group or so.
Well, we only have 5 or 6 people left on this.
I can make a post for everybody who's in there and add
That would be
to it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And then for the rest, just post with the meeting invite that you'll be sharing the video.
Yeah. And I will post that before I share it publicly. Well, publicly in our Facebook group. It's normally I post it in the discussion under the meeting. So whoever is in our group will see it.
I
So
will
it's
note
not
that
publicly all over. Go ahead.
videos that you post into the Facebook group, I'm not sure if they're full on public, but I know that friends of mine who are not in the group were able to see the videos.
Same with me. Yeah.
So that's some sort of public-ish setting. I just assume everything on the internet's public.
Yeah. So I will ask, and if somebody doesn't like it, then I just need to keep it private somehow, and I need to figure out, because the other stuff that I do, I just share it within the event posts.
Yeah.
Because it's just a discussion, but not everybody might want to have their writing shown to others.
No, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, the group is public, so I guess anyone could see it theoretically. But again, of all the things on the internet that someone's going to stumble on, I feel like it's kind of niche.
Nice to be asked.
And I think we were all kind. You know, I don't think anyone has to be embarrassed about anything that was said.
No. One other suggestion, and I'm looking at myself right now. I am trying my best, but I can't promise I will make it. Depends how busy my life remains. To put down the words from some of the books, because I have most of those books really, and then to translate what the figures we picked are really supposed to be like, not just, I love the cheat sheet from Gwen, and I love what agendas. It's a great way to get started, but maybe while we are trying maybe to work on one pattern at a time, really getting into what was the purpose of it, and how was this supposed to be written based on the purpose of it, because it's been a while since I read it, so I need to reread it, make sure I do it correctly. But I'll try my best to do the official description of the patterns for December. I say that publicly, so maybe somebody holds me accountable and makes it happen for me.
That would be really neat to see.
Right. And I think because I'm not the greatest writer, if you met me, documentation and writing and language is definitely one of my biggest weaknesses I have. But getting it started, maybe other people have a different translation or outlook on it, because sometimes that old language is difficult for me to make it presentable or readable in modern English or German. But I'm not sure how your German is. Jordan
My
is
German is
It's
terrible.
not good. Yeah. I hear it a lot, but I don't understand any of it.
I'm with you, Jordan.
I only know
Yes, because I
English and
talk
some
German to
Latin.
my animals. Sorry, Jen.
Oh, I only read English and some Latin, so it's not very helpful when most of it is in French.
Or Italian.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's